Hello everyone and welcome to your guide to popular builds and Heroes of the Storm. My name is Death, and today we'll be checking out Rexxar's Bear Tank build. But before we get into any of that, a quick disclaimer. These guides are not written in stone. They are here to point you in the right direction, but ultimately they are a tool to help you learn the hero on your own. Now we've gotten through that, let's take a look at Rexxar. He is a ranged warrior from the Warcraft universe, and when he isn't stalking the wastes, mountains, and jungles of Azeroth, or fighting the mighty beasts of Gorgrond, he and Misha are showing their inseparable bond by savagely dismantling their enemies in the Nexus. His kit makes him a great solo lane tank that can help stunlock enemies down during team fights or safely take camps in the jungle. Before we get into his talent build, let's take a look at his skills. His trait is Misha, who can act somewhat separately from Rexxar using a series of commands. It's also important to know that Misha has a health bar and can be killed. She is worth 25% the experience of a hero, and she is a scaling respawn timer starting at 14 seconds at level 1. Her first ability is called Misha Follow. This ability commands Misha to stay by your side. You can use this ability to call her back to you after sending her out to fight someone, or just stay close when you're trying to be sneaky. You also have Misha Attack. This ability commands Misha to attack your enemies. This is a great ability when you want Misha to focus your target, and is also her default command. You also start the game with a 1 key called Misha Focus. This ability gives you a lot more control over Misha, commanding her to focus a specific target until they are dead, or they run out of range, forcing her to leash back, or command her to move to a point and wait there. Rexxar's Q is called Spirit Swoop. This is a 7-second cooldown skill shot that commands Spirit to swoop down, dealing moderate damage to enemies in a line, slowing them for 30% for 2 seconds. This is a great ability that can help you clear the lane, or more importantly, help your team and Misha stick to a target and hopefully get a kill. His W is called Misha Charge. This is a 10-second cooldown skill shot from Misha that commands her to charge in a line, dealing moderate damage and stunning enemies for 1.25 seconds. This ability gives you a lot of crowd control potential in lane, ganks, and in team fights, and has the added benefit of dealing damage. Just remember that the charge direction is based off of Misha, so keep an eye on her to ensure you're getting maximum value. His E is called Mend Pet. This is a 10-second cooldown that heals Misha for a large amount over 5 seconds. This ability allows you to keep Misha close to topped off, helping you deal more damage in lane and allowing you to safely take merc camps. Just remember that the heal doesn't all happen at once, so make sure you keep a close eye on her health pool and activate it early to ensure she gets the healing she needs to stay in the fight. Now we've covered his basic abilities, let's take a quick look at his heroics. His first heroic is called Bestial Wrath. This is a 50-second cooldown that increases Misha's basic attack damage by 150% for 12 seconds. This ability can help you take larger merc camps and put out a reasonable amount of damage during team fights. His second heroic is called Unleash the Boars. This is a 60-second cooldown that releases a herd of boars that track down all enemy heroes in a direction, dealing moderate damage, revealing them, and slowing them by 40% for 5 seconds. This is a solid tool that can help your team engage on the enemy, or even prevent enemies from escaping, giving your team a significant advantage during team fights. Now we've covered his base abilities, let's get into the talents. At level 1, you're going to go with Hunter Gatherer. This is a quest talent that increases your health regen by 1 per second, up to 30 per second, for each regen globe you gather. Once you've reached 30 globes, you are rewarded by gaining 600 max health on Rexxar. This talent helps Rexxar stay healthier outside of combat, and the extra health can go a long way in helping Rexxar stay alive when enemies jump on him. At level 4, you're going to go with Hungry Bear. Misha's basic attacks now heal her for 4% of her max health. This is just another tool that helps Misha stay alive during team fights and when trying to take merc camps, which goes a long way in taking pressure off your healer. At level 7, you're going to go with Aspect of the Beast. Now Misha's basic attacks lower the cooldown of Misha Charge by 1.5 seconds. This talent lets you get more charges off, which means more stuns and more control during a team fight. For Rexxar's Heroic, you're mostly going to go with Bestial Wrath. This talent just helps you dish out more damage during a team fight and helps you take merc camps much faster, all in a 50-second cooldown. However, if your team lacks an engage or a way to keep enemies stuck in the team fight, then you can go with Unleash the Boars. Typically, when taking this Heroic, you're planning on taking the level 20 upgrade, but even without it, the Heroic can still help your team close the distance on the enemy. At level 13, you're going to go with Wildfire Bear. Now Misha burns with rage, literally, dealing light damage per second to nearby enemies. Misha is rather good at sticking to targets, which can help you put out a substantial amount of damage during team fights, and it has the added benefit of helping you quickly clear lanes. At level 16, you have a choice to make, which mostly comes down to how the team fights have been going up to this point. If the enemy has been ignoring Misha and coming straight for you, or the enemy team doesn't have a lot of auto attackers, then you will go with Feign Death. This is a 35-second cooldown that allows you to play dead, making you invulnerable and untargetable for 5 seconds, during which you gain direct control over Misha. This is a lifesaver of an ability that can give your team and Misha time to move in and assist you. However, if the enemy team has a lot of auto attackers and they are focusing down Misha a lot, then you can go with Primal Intimidation. This talent slows enemy attack speeds by 40% if they attack either you or Misha. This talent deters enemies from attacking you. Just remember that the moment that they switch to another target, their attack speeds return to normal. At level 20, you have another choice to make. Nearly all of the time, you're going to go with Frenzy of Kalimdor. This talent increases your basic attack damage by 10%, and Misha's basic attacks now slows the target movement speed by 20% for 1.25 seconds. This talent gives you a bit more damage and adds a lot of extra utility to Misha, allowing her to stick to targets a bit better, which means more damage and more stuns. However, if you went with Unleash the Boars as your Heroic, then you may want to go with Kill Command. This increases Unleash the Boar's damage by 50%, and now the Boars will root enemies hit for 1.5 seconds. This turns an OK Heroic into a rather significant lockdown tool that can help your team hard engage on the enemy team, potentially getting a quick kill and turning the fight in your favor. Rexxar's Bear Tank build is a great build that allows him to be a strong solo laner and a great jungler, who can hold objectives while soaking lanes, with OK wave clear that gets much better as you gain talents, with a powerful stun on a somewhat short cooldown thanks to talents. However, Rexxar has no escape and can be considered rather squishy when jumped on. Controlling both Rexxar and Misha can be a little overwhelming at first, and Rexxar is very weak without Misha, so when she dies, you will need to play incredibly safe until she respawns. Alright, now that we've gone over all that, let's go over some quick tips for Rexxar. If you find yourself getting focused, make sure you stun enemies chasing you with Misha Charge. This can give you enough time to escape behind the wall to relative safety. In team fights, enemies will try and jump you and not Misha, so stick Misha on your primary target and position yourself further back, just putting out damage where you can. Get used to keeping an eye on 2 targets so you can maximize your damage and help win team fights with well-coordinated CCs. Misha counts as a hero for a lot of things. This includes standing on objectives like temples on Sky Temple and shrines on Dragonshire. However, this also includes enemy abilities that affect or get bonuses from damaging heroes, so keep that in mind when positioning Misha so you aren't giving away free upgrades to enemies' quest talents. And I want to further emphasize getting used to controlling Misha with a combination of Misha Focus, Attack, and Follow. Getting her controls and movement down will go a long way in helping master Rexxar's kit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this guide helpful. If you have any variations or tips for this build, feel free to share them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I will catch you all later.